Hello, 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 everyone. Hello. Come on in, come on in. I'm sorry, I'm a little under the weather today. Hello, hello, everyone. I'm actually a lot under the weather today. I am a lot under the weather, but I, everyone. I'm just checking everything's working. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Everything's working. Thank you. Yes, wow, I won't go into it. I'm pretty ill. My daughter's really ill as well, was being sick all night, and I was up all night with her while she was being sick, and I'm tired and also ill, but I didn't want to cancel this maths webinar. And so, just to remind everybody how this is working, this is the last time I'm live streaming this free. So I've been live streaming some of these webinars free. From now on, after this session, I'm going to just have them for premium members, but I'm going to start putting more stuff for those of you that want free content. I'm going to start putting more stuff on YouTube. But today, as a special one, I'm going to live stream the whole hour. So we're going to go for an hour. You guys I just thought you guys can see what one of these premium webinars actually feels like. Yeah, you'll get a sense of whether or not it would be right for you. Like if you can last an hour and you learn stuff and you think, oh, that was actually really useful, then it might be right for you. And also the price of premium goes up tonight. So now would be a good time to sign up, especially before half term. Anyway, let's jump in. Let's see who we got in the chats. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hang on. Let me see. Who was first? Ariana was first. Of course, you were. Hi, Ariana. Good morning, Jacob from Portugal. Sienna, hi. Yeah, I'm actually not very well, thank you, but thank you very much for asking. Andrada, Anna, Liz, Sophia, Sienna, Liz, Anna, Fraser, Harry, Ruby, Anushka, Tabitha, Seren, Tia, Finn, Thomas. Hello. Hi, everybody. And hi, Kizzy and Helena. Okay. So, yeah, excuse me, I did just do a small burp, but we're all human. Okay. We're all human. Let's jump into the math. So, what I'm going to do, hi, Ivy, hi, Labia, La, Liber. I want to get that right. Is that right, Liber? Please let me know. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Please, spell it phonetically if you want. Hi, George. How's it going? Right. Shall we jump in? Yes, I got it right. Liber. Sorry. Okay, we got it right. Liber. Okay, right. So let me share my screen, and Millie's here as well. Let me share my screen, and what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys what we do in these premium webinars, which is that I kind of just start by seeing what you guys want to go through. So I'm going to do a poll. I'm doing a poll here for the people in the Zoom room. And the questions we're going through today are from 1 to 16. So just let me know which questions you guys have all had a look. Um, oh, and Ivy, I'm so sorry. I've been pronouncing your name wrong. Evia. 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 Is that right? I hope that's right, Evia. Please let me know if I'm getting that wrong, Evia. Right, everybody, vote for the questions that you want me to go through, and we're going to go through all the ones. Just while you're voting, more pronounced A at the end. Okay, Evia. 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 Let me know. Yes, I. Okay, I've got it right. EVA. Okay, maybe we'll do this over email where you can send me a proper EVA. EVA, is that right? Yes, I got it. I got it. Okay, EVA. Right. Okay. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. While people are voting, I'm going to give everyone a little cheeky calculator hack. Who wants a calculator hack straight off the bat? The reason I teach you guys calculator hacks is so that when you actually come to your real exam, you sit down, you look like in your real GCSE, you turn the page, question one, bang. And if you've been trained by my calculator hacks, I will come back to which questions you guys have voted for in a second. But what do I want you guys to do? Stick it in the chats. What's the hack that you're just going to immediately do, and you're going to get such a kick out of this because you're going to be like, yes, that is a mark that I've got on my real GCSE, and loads of people have made a mistake here. And what's the first thing I want you guys to do on this question? Just let me know in the chats. Yes, Anushka's got it. Oh, Mason, not quite. Now, Mason just said times everything. Now, listen, Mason, that's a nice idea if you're completely stuck. It just times everything. But Ruby's saying the time. Yeah, it's the time. Time. It's the time. 8 hours, 12 minutes. So just quickly, before we even begin the session, I'm not going to do that yet. Depends on what questions you guys have voted for. But it's just such a handy little calculator hack. I like to start with calculator hacks. 8 hours, 12 minutes. You cannot use that because it's hours and minutes. So the units are different. So it has to basically be either all in hours or all in minutes. But changing this is quite annoying. Changing to 8 hours and 12 minutes is quite annoying. So what you want to do is use this weird button there. 8 hours, 12 minutes. You see this? You hit equals. Oh no, it says the same thing. Yeah, but you hit S to D. What's this? Bang, bang, 8.2. There you go. Such a sneaky little hack. So quick, so quick. Once you learn this button, you just have to hit it after each number, hours and minutes. It's just a very handy way to be like, okay, I haven't made a mistake. So many people putting 8.12, 8.12 hours. That's wrong. That's a mistake because minutes, it's not decimal basically. It's like 60. This will be 8.2. So now you just do speed distance time, where this is your distance and this is your time, and you use it to get the speed. That's 3 marks. It's so nice to be like, okay, bang that, got that. Okay, let's go. Right, let me jump in and see actually what you guys are voting for in the thing, in the poll. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, right. So what questions are getting the most hate? 15. Three. Three's getting the most hate. So what we do is we're going to write out all the questions we're going to go through. Three's the worst, and 15 got the next load of votes. Then, yeah, okay, 10, 6, and 7. 10, 6, and 7. For those of you just joining, I am ill. If you're wondering, why are my energy levels lower than usual? I'm really ill, guys. 8, 11. I've just banged down a Lemsip though, and I'm ready to go. The maths will heal us. The maths will heal us. Say it with me. Oh, you don't have to say it with me. The maths will cure us of all our ailments. Right, what else? Da, 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 da. I probably won't get around to any more after that, but 5, 13, 14, 5, actually 16, 5, 13, 13, 16, 5, and then 14. And then listen, I'm not going to get around to those, but those are getting some votes here at the end. I don't think anything else is, I won't get time. The mass will heal us, says Sienna. The mass will heal us, says Aria. No, no. Isa is trying to make me say, and that meme that you guys were trying to get me to say last time. Yeah, you might have spotted this. I need to look up what it means before I start saying something I shouldn't, but anyway. Right, let's get into it. Let's not do 6, 7. Let's come up. Let's get into it. Let's start with question 3. Okay, so question 3. So everybody was hating this question. Let's just break this down and see why everyone's hating it so much. Let's just quickly read the question. Why not? So we've got a shape. Yeah. Actually, before I even jump in, I like to give you guys my initial thoughts before I've even read the question. Okay. My first thought here is if you're ever given a shape, which is not a shape that you know, cut it up into shapes that you do know. Okay, that is the overarching thing. This is a topic called compound shapes. I'm just going to very quickly, without even reading the question, I just want to show you the sorts of things that you do in questions like this. You split it, but there's different ways to split it. So the worst thing to do is to just come straight in here and be like, oh, cut there. Okay, no, trapezium and a triangle. This is a hard question. I've got trapezium and a triangle. It's like, whoa, whoa, slow down, slow down. You could have cut it there. You could have also cut it there. Okay, now you've got a square. Oh, sorry. This might not be a square. This might just be a rectangle. It might just look like a square. Rectangle, rectangle, triangle. Suddenly this question is so much easier. You can also, I just want to mention this, you can sometimes take the bigger shape. Oh, take the bigger shape and subtract off this bit. Now, I don't think that's the best idea here because you've got a big rectangle minus a trapezium. It doesn't look like a bad idea, though, to be honest. But like, there's so many ways to split the shape up. What I'm going to do is only now I'm going to read the question. But the two rules that are going to guide me here, firstly, is splitting up shapes. Yeah. The second one is the other reason that people are probably confused is that this is X and this is not a number. But remember, I have another overarching rule that with the whole of algebra, which is pretend it's a number. So if you were stuck here and you didn't know what to do with X, just pretend this said like 3 or something and ask yourself, well, what would I do in that case? What would I do if it was a 3? And you'll probably have some answer for that. And whatever you did there, do the same, but instead of 3, put X. So those are the overarching things. I haven't even read the question, but I'm showing you what things are going to be useful for questions like this. So let's read the question. The diagram shows the shape. The area is this, work at the value of X. Yeah, it literally doesn't matter what they ask us, though. They could have said, they could have said, find this distance or find this distance, or find the width of the thing, or find the area of the triangle, or find the and whatever they say. All of these questions are all just different ways of dressing up the same thing. They're testing you on can you split up shapes, and can you work with algebra in uh in questions. Right. So shall we actually look, area is 91.8, but like, yeah, but this shape, as I said, is something that we don't know. It looks like Italy. Actually, this looks like Italy reversed, or looks like a boot, doesn't it? But what do we think is the nicest way to split this? I'll give you, yeah, like what do you guys think? Stick it in the chats. It's really worth thinking. Like, is that nicest or is that nicest? Like, let's actually think. Like, I know I try and show you how to do questions and like without even thinking about them, but this is a great place to stop and think. This is going to be such a nightmare. I nearly swore that. Such a nightmare to work this out. So look, like, and I'll walk you through the kind of thought process. You could split it here. Now, is this nice or is this nasty? It's doable. It's doable. Um, but this is the trapezium, so it's a little bit annoying. I'm going to see what you guys are suggesting. Cut the triangle. Someone says nasty. Triangle and two square things. I prefer option two. Rectangle and triangle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, one rectangle and one triangle. So wait, how do you, oh, I see. So someone suggesting this. I think that's really smart actually, because what some people have said before is you followed my thought, which was like my first instinctive thought is you could cut it across there, you could cut it down there, bang, bang, bang. You've got rectangle, rectangle, triangle. But then we stop and think, well, actually, do we need that line? Now we've just got one rectangle and one triangle. This is actually easier. Christina's saying rectangle and trapezium. Now, you could do that. You could do that, but now you've got to do the trapezium formula, and that's quite annoying. That is quite annoying. So I think this whole question comes down to how do you slice it? Do you slice it that way or do you slice it that way? And for those of you that slice it that way, I think you're going to maybe get this question wrong, or you're going to be here for ages. It's going to be really annoying because now you've got this distance is x because it's the same as that. And now you've got to do a trapezium, which is x and 13. And I don't even know this distance. This is so annoying. Okay. Whereas I think this is the best way to split it like this. So anyway, yeah, the whole point of this is split this nicely. So I think we should even make a card right now which says like, how would you split this shape? Let's make a card before we even jump into the maths. You want to get practice splitting it in the nice way, in the nicest way. How would you split this shape? Da, 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 da. And on the back, you just want to go on the back of your card here. I think you want to just go like that. Yeah. Because, if you want to write y, it's just like rectangle plus triangle. Rectangle plus triangle. That will make a nice little quick card. Whenever you come across a shape and you don't split it in the right way, or you didn't see the way to split it, you should make a little card for it. And this will make you really good at shapes questions. Yeah. So anyway, let's now go and do it. So now I'm going to do this rectangle here, right? So let's do this rectangle. Who can tell me what the area of this rectangle is? Stick it in the chats. So we're doing area because they said area here. Sorry, area. Yeah. So what do you guys reckon? Nice, Anushka. Nice, Mesa. Yes, nice. Now, yes, Tia, very good. Sienna, very good. Now, listen, if you guys are stuck, remember my other rule: pretend it's a number. So if this x is annoying you, what you do is pretend it's 3 or 4, or it literally doesn't matter. And in that case, I think most of you should be able to see, oh, it's just base times, it's just 3 times 14, right? I would just times them together to get the area of that purple rectangle. But it's not 3, it's x. So now you just pretend that's a number, ask yourself, what would I do in that case? And then just do the same thing. So instead of 3 times 14, we're going to do x times 14. So you could write x times 14 or 14 times x. Now, the nicest way of writing that is 14x. All three of these things are the same. They all mean exactly the same thing. 14x is the best way to write it. So the area of rectangle, we should write this. This will really help us and help. Yeah, area of rectangle equals 14x. So I should put that there. And I know people find that weird because they're like, yeah, but it's algebra. It's like, yeah, but to try and get you want to try and get confident with using algebra so that you don't mind that you don't know what it is. You're going to go and find out what that thing is later. Now we're going to do area of this triangle. So, area of a triangle. You guys know the formula for area of a triangle? Stick it in the chats if you do. Very good, Sienna. Very good. If you don't know at home, just have a think what you think it's going to be. It's going to be half times base times height. If you didn't know that, I am messy today. I don't, it's something about being ill, but my handwriting is absolutely abysmal today. Area of triangle equals half times base times height. If you didn't know that, make a card right now. Just put that on the front, that on the back. If you're doing higher tier, you should also plus the formula sheet one. I'm just saying this now, just quickly, but if you wanted to make a card about this, if you're higher tier, you should be aware that there's another formula for the area of a triangle, which is on your formula sheet. It's that thing, it's half AB sine C. Everyone's afraid of it, but it's how you find the area of a triangle that's not right angled. So like this triangle, this was 6 and this was 7 and this was 41. Like you just go half AB sine C. I'm not covering that now. I'm just showing you very quickly. If you want to actually make a really useful card for triangles, write this, but then in brackets say plus formula sheet one. For non-right angle, for non-right angle triangles, something like that. But we're not doing that now. That's would be make a more useful card. Okay, fine. So half times base times height. Right. So what's the base? What's the height? So you want to go in here. What's the base? What's the height? Okay, let's start with the base. Do you guys know what the base is? What is the base of this triangle? Nice, Anushka, Kitty, Ruby, Mesa. Yes. Laiba. Sorry, I'm trying to get that right. Laiba, nearly. Although actually, wait. Not quite. Oh, sorry. So I think if you put 6, I think you guys are doing the height of this, not the base. So some of you, yeah, a bunch of you are getting this right. Some of you not. Some of you, this is so useful. Thank you. Cecilia and Tabitha both made this. Listen, I'm not calling you guys out for this, but like both, this is so common. And I'm so glad you guys wrote this. What you guys have done is said, this is halfway, right? Looks like halfway between that line. It's not. It might look it, but it's not. So this is something we've got to be really careful about. A lot of people, this is such a common mistake, and the fact that more than one person's made it means that we should all learn from this. This happens as well when you have like I don't know, you might have some triangle like this, and there'll be some line across there, and everyone's like, oh, well, that's equal to that because it looks like it. Well, but it would have to say that this cut that thing in half or something like that. So it's very common to look at a shape and say, this looks like halfway, but it doesn't say that it is halfway, and so you can't say. So some people said 6.5. You've halved 13. It's not actually correct. So a lot of people find this difficult because let me just use, I just need to use, what color shall I use? I'll use purple again. We know the total length is 13, and we know that like this length is X. And so like we want to then use those two things to find this bit, like the rest of it, right? Because that's going to end up being the base of our triangle. Again, pretend it's a number. If you find this difficult, just be like, right, 13. If that was 3, you just minus them to get 10. But then, like the fact that it's a letter, people are like, yeah, but I don't know how to do it with X. You do the same. If it was 3, I'd do 30 minus 3. Exactly. Ivia. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hope I get that right. Ivia. I know we've done this. IVA. I'm going to get this, but I'm going to, yes, Ivia. Thank you. You minus them, so 13 minus X. So again, this is going to make a card. A lot of people, sorry, I got it wrong. IVA, IVA, IVA. A lot of people are going to need to make a card on this, which is going to be, I just want to work out the easiest way to say this. 13X. Thank you, IVA. I will learn it properly. I'm so sorry. I really am sorry. I hate getting people's names wrong. But anyway, um, we will. I'm going to go and revise. I'm going to revise it afterwards. Email us, and I'm gonna revise it properly. If this is 13 and this is x, what's question mark? I actually think we can make this easier. This is such a useful card for anybody that didn't get that right. This is your card, and on the back you write 13 minus x. If you can start to get used to this, I know this is complicated for some people, okay? I know this feels weird, but if the total length is 13 and a bit of that is x, what's the rest? You do big minus small. And this is so useful for more advanced things. When you start getting things like there's n balls in a bag, and you're like, oh, what? Like, this is exactly what you need to do. Well, sorry, if there were 13 balls in a bag and x of them were red, the rest of them, and so many people find this difficult to visualize, but the rest of them would be exactly the same. 13 minus x. Complicated, weird. Let's get it onto a card. And you just want to revise this. My micro revision cards, you just want to revise it a little enough to know. Okay, I'm going to pick up the pace slightly because this is only one question and I want to do lots more questions. So let me pick up the pace slightly. So 13 minus x is this weird bit here. Okay, 13 minus x. So the half times base times height is half times 13 minus x. And you really should put brackets in there. Whenever there's two things, you can put brackets in there. Sophia, this is an interesting one. Sophia's saying, can you work out the triangle with 40 minus 8 to get the height and then the angle of 90 degrees, or then another type of question? So this is what we're about to do next. Sophia, we're about to find this height here. So again, we know the whole height is 14 and we know this length is 8. So you subtract them to get 6. Okay, so the height of there is 6. So half times base times height. Hey, that's tricky. That is tricky, actually. This is a tricky question. But no, Sophia, you can't, like Sophia's saying, the fact that this is a right angle triangle, but like you need two lengths to find the third. So either way, you still need to find the height of this triangle and you still need to find the base of this triangle. So let's go through. We've got this now. Now, this is times. Half times this weird thing times 6. The nicest, like whenever you have three things times together in maths, it doesn't matter what order you times them. So it makes sense to do half times 6 first. Half of 6 is 3. So this is 3 times brackets 13 minus x. But the nicest way to write this is to not write that times. I'm doing this a little bit quickly now. I'm just trying to push through this question a little bit faster. But this is hard to simplify, but that's how you do it. If you want to get really good at algebra, learn how to simplify this kind of thing. You might even make a card for it. Simplify, and then put that on the back of the card. That'd be very, very useful. So now what we have, IVA is saying, what grade would this be? I want to rephrase the way you think about what grade a question is. It's like it's really I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I think that there are like grade 2 marks or grade 3 marks or grade 5 marks, but not grade 5 questions. So this might be called a grade 6 question or grade 7 question or something like that. But like, I think the first step, you'd get 1 mark if you just times those two together. Just like if you just did anything, if you did anything, you'd get a mark on this question. So now what we've got is that the area of the shape is 91.8. Now, if you want to get really advanced with algebra, you need to start to take sentences and turn them into equations. The word is always means equals. So we've got the area of the shape equals 91.8. So the area of this shape is just this thing plus this thing. And I know that it equals 91.8. Okay, so I'm going to form an equation now. So I'm just going to say 14x plus 3 brackets 13 minus x equals 91.8. I know this is where a lot of people will be getting stuck, but let me just show you how to do this quickly. Remember, I've got my calculator hack for solving equations. Who wants it? Get your calculators out, guys. We're going to practice this. So let me just move this there. Again, the reason I teach you calculator hacks is you can just solve any equation on your calculator, and it just gives people that confidence. I know this, and someone's saying this is so nasty that this is so early on. I know this is going to happen. So many people think, what? They're going to try and trip you up in an exam. And that's why I'm trying to teach you guys a lot of exam technique for like how to like how to not get panicked in an exam. And I know it's very easy to get panicked in an exam, but I'm just going to solve this quickly. I'm just going to show you. A lot of people find this nasty. And so if you use your calculator, you can just make sure that you're not going to make any silly mistakes on this. You literally type this in. on this calculator, you got to do the alpha equals 91.8. And then we're going to do this weird thing where we go shift and then calc and ignore this. It'll be different for everyone. And then hit equals. And it just gives us the answer 4.8. So I just know that X is equal to 4.8. And now I've got to show some working. So you want to expand this? Please don't worry. I'm just going to go slightly quicker now because I do want to get more questions done. 14x, 3 times 13 is 39, minus 3x equals 91.8. 14x minus 3x is 11x, plus 39 equals 91.8. Then I'm going to subtract 39 from both sides. So I'm going to get 11x. 91.8 minus 39, I don't know what that is. 91.8 minus 39. No prizes for doing that in your heads. The answer there is 52.8. And then I take my 11 and I slide it underneath. Okay, now listen, I know I've gone quite slowly through this question, but it's covering so many different topics. You're getting algebra, you're getting solving equations. Look, there's 4.8, so I know I haven't made a silly mistake. So there you go. That's just such a useful way to make sure you got the marks. Algebra, we're doing equations, we're doing shapes, we're doing triangles, we're doing working with algebra. Like there's so many different things and compound shapes. So I'm taking my time on this question because it got the most votes. Most people find it's really difficult. Just to reiterate, when you come across a nasty question in an exam, mark one is always going to be really easy. Just do anything, just times anything together. You would have got a mark for doing x times 14. You also would have got a mark for doing x times like 8, because you could have started this question by working out the area of this one, like whatever. Or even you could have started by doing the whole big one there. You could have gone 13 times 14. You would have got a mark. You would have got a mark for doing literally anything, like just timesing any numbers together. And then just go as far as you can. And if you really get stuck, it's okay. Other people are going to get stuck. And you just know that, other people will have got stuck before you. So you would have beaten a whole load of people. And then, you just go as far as you can. And what you want to do every time you learn something new, like here, like whether it's with me or whether you're learning at school, is try and work out what was the one thing that stopped me progressing in this question. What was the thing? Was it knowing that that distance is 30 minus x? For a lot of people, that would be the thing that holds you back. Was it even knowing how to split it to begin with? In that case, write this card. You find the one thing that's stopping you from progressing. You condense it onto a card in the shortest possible phrasing. Did you not know the area of a triangle? Fine. This thing, blah, 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 whatever. And then you just go and revise it little and often. And that's what we're going to do in these sessions. Keep going through, keep finding more of these cards to go through. I'm just going to push on a little bit. I'm going to go back into the chat and see some things in the chat, but I just want to make sure we're covering a few more questions before we have to end the session. Let's go to 15 because this also got loads and loads of votes. Ah, yes. Okay, right. So, circle theorems. Let me teach you my foolproof method for answering every single circle theorems question. The problem with this topic, which is called circle theorems, is that there's like 10 circle theorems. And what your teachers are saying is, okay, guys, here are the 10 circle theorems. We're going to have a test on them next week. So go and learn all 10. Go on, that's your homework. You're like, what? 10? And you'll learn like 7, and then the 3 that you didn't learn come up in the test, and they're like, you didn't do any work. You're like, I did say I learned 7. Like the idea of there being 10 circle theorems is so annoying. And so the way I teach this is I give you guys an order in which to look at. Okay, the first step of any circle theorems question, write it in the chat if you know. If you've seen me do this before, you will know my very first. Claire's asking, will this be on foundation? Good question. Not this topic. This topic won't be on foundation, not circle theorems. So I'll tell you what, I'll do it fairly quickly because there may be some people on foundation here. I'll do this fairly quickly. And then I'll go through and do more questions. Thomas says, see the shape. I think this is second, Thomas. I think that's a great shout, but I think that's the second thing you look for. Now, Claire, listen, Claire's actually gone in and spotted something, but yeah, Thomas says, what is a circle theorem? Okay, so listen, I'm not going to teach every single circle theorem now, but a circle theorem is just like theorems about circles. So there's certain theorems, which just means like rules about circles. I'll show you a couple of them now, but I'm going to show you the first thing you want to look for is radius and tangent. So when you've got a circle theorem, radius and tangent is the very first thing you look at. I don't think anyone got that actually, so this is really important. the premium members, you're going to want to go in and watch my videos on circle theorems afterwards. I break this down. I go into more detail. You know, there's so much more, and I'm writing all the cards out for you, so you don't have to think about what card am I going to write that's going to be helpful. I pack all that into those videos, and they're so short. Those videos, they're like as short as I can make them, maybe like 10 minutes. 8 minutes on average, actually, but circle theorems are slightly longer. So here, radius and tangent. So it's like, is there any radius? Is there any tangent? And don't look at anything else. I know one of you spotted this like arrowhead thing, and there's a rule for that, but don't do that yet because radius and tangent is the hardest to spot. So that's why we go first. That's a radius, that's a radius. So radius is anywhere from the center of the circle to the edge, and you mark a little dash on. There's two reasons why the radius is important. One of them is that all radiuses are the same length, and so you get isosceles triangles. So that isn't relevant in this question. But if this was a triangle, you could say, well, this is an isosceles triangle then, because those two are the same length. And so you need to be on the lookout for that, because that's very often the way to do a question, and it's so easy to miss that. But that's not relevant here. Just in case some people are thinking, well, why bother telling us that, Rob, if it's not relevant? I think that the problem with the way that almost everyone else teaches maths, your teachers online, whatever, is they just tell you how to do the question. And they're like, okay, so this question, you had to use this rule. But I don't think you learn anything. It's like just reading a mark scheme and saying, well, what was the answer? It doesn't actually teach you how to do it yourself. I'm doing that. What's that advert? It's like, teach a man to fish. I'm teaching you how to fish. I'm not giving you fish, guys. I'm not serving you fish. I'm teaching you how to fish. So I want to show you my like how to think for yourselves. Um, the other reason why this rule is useful is the tangent is a radius and a tangent meet at 90 degrees. So if you have a tangent and a radius touching each other, bang, they touch at 90 degrees. So what can we immediately do here? Can you guys say in the chats? Can you see what can I immediately do that's going to get me a mark? Yes, yes, yes. Great, great, great. This angle here. So we're going to subtract them. Yes, this is 90. This is 60. So we're going to subtract them and get 30, right? So that's 30. Now this is why I do radius and tangent first, because the person that spotted this shape, and this is step 2, shapes, by the way, we're coming on to that now. The person who spotted that, great. But you might have then missed this. I'm not saying you would have done, but you might have done. It's very easy to miss this radius tangent thing. So we look for it first. Get it done. Get it done. And it's so quick. It's just like, that's 90 degrees. Bang. Oh, so that's 30. Okay, done. Done. I've done radius and tangent. I've marked them all on. There's nothing else left to do. Okay. There's one more reason you do the tangent, by the way. I'll just say this quickly. This, because if there's one circle theorem you want to remember, it's the alternate segment theorem. When a tangent touches a triangle, you get this weird rule that the outside angle there is the same as the inside angle there, and this outside angle there is the same as this angle there. So you could say immediately that that's 60, but that doesn't help in this question. And again, if you're thinking, why bother teaching us that? Again, I'm teaching you how to fish. That is very often the way to do questions is the alternate segment theorem, but you only get that when you get a tangent. I'm not covering this. I could spend the rest of the session talking about the circle theorems. That's why I have the videos up there for those of you that want to go a little bit deeper into this. I just quickly trying to cover this stuff to teach you this whole checklist of what to do. Raise and tangent, done. Shapes. So there's a bunch of circle theorems that are all about shapes. There is like a cyclic quadrilateral. There's this arrowhead thing. There's the bow tie theorem. There's the semicircle theorem. I'm not going through them all, but you just look for shapes and see which is the shape that we got here. Okay, so the shape that we've got here is this thing. It's the arrowhead theorem. Now, the arrowhead theorem, I'm just going to tell you, says that this thing is twice this thing. So the angle at the edge, sorry, the angle at the center is twice the angle at the circumference. That's the name of this circle theorem. And so that's a rule that we've got here. Oh, so we could use that. Yes, because this angle is like 360 minus this one. Okay, because that's angles around a point. So we go 360 minus 238. Let me just show you that. It's very important to say I'm not answering the question, guys. I'm not even trying to, I haven't even read the question. I'm just trying to get marks. Marks are more useful. 1, 2, 2, and if you halve it, you get that one. So that'll be 61. Okay, now I've done everything. I've done radius and tangent. I've done shapes. If you're interested, the third one is tricks, but we're not going to go through that now. There's a few tricks you've got to learn if you want to be really, really good. There aren't any tricks here. I'm not diving into that, but if you want to know more about that, you can watch the videos. So now we read the question. Calculate the size of angle OPQ. So OPQ is, where is it? Bum. O to P to Q. So you go from O to P to Q, and you see what angle does that trace out? That one. Okay, does anybody have any idea how we're going to find this angle now, based on the stuff that we've done so far? Thoughts, stick in the chats. I want to see what you guys are thinking. Any ideas? Any ideas? So now I really want to show you. No one's actually said anything yet. So maybe this would be really difficult. Oh, very interesting. Yeah, a bunch of people say cricket says to me. Exactly right. This is so important, right? This is such a very, very important lesson here, right? No one really knows how to do it. Very few people, I don't think anyone's, yeah, okay, couple of people have suggested, but very, very few people have got this. Does it really matter? This is a 4 mark question, right? Now, okay, this says give a reason for each stage of your working. So what you would do in a real question is say this angle is 30 degrees because a radius and a tangent meet at 90 degrees. You'd then say this angle 61 because angles at the center are twice angles at the circumference, and this is 360 minus because angles around a point. There. You've now got 3 out of 4. You've got 3 out of 4 marks on a really nasty circle theorems question, and we've got no idea how to answer the question. No one's got any idea how to answer this question, right? It's really hard. But what everybody does is they go straight in and read the question. Your teachers are telling you, read the question, just read the question. And what you're doing is going in and being like, oh, circle theorem stuff, calculate size of OPQ. And everyone's sitting there going, I don't know how to find this angle. And so everyone gets stuck and turns over the page. But you don't realize there were 3 marks up for grabs there just for knowing these couple of things, radius and tangent, and just know one shapes formula, and you'll get 3 out of 4. Now I'm going to show you, this is hard, but yeah, a bunch of you got this. It's to spot that this is actually a quadrilateral. It doesn't look like it because it's like a weird shape that comes in on itself, but it doesn't matter. It's still true that let me put this in a different color. These 4 angles add up to what? Angles in a quadrilateral add up to what? And if you don't know this, we're going to make a card. Angles in a, even if you're not sure, make a card. Quadrilateral and up to what? And on the back of your card, you're going to say 360. Angles in a triangle add up to 180. Angles in a quadrilateral, which is a 4-sided shape, add up to 360. Well done, Sophia. You got it right. Yeah, nice. So 238. So basically, I've got 238 plus 61 plus 30 plus this thing I don't know equals 360. Bang. And there's many ways to solve this equation. This, instead of writing question mark, we should really be writing x. If you want to be good at algebra, you should be calling that x. So this thing called x. And now you could just, you could use the solving equation hack if you want. Probably easier to just add these all up and subtract it from 360, to be honest. I think that's a lot easier. We don't need to be forming an equation here. You can just add all these things up, add up the 3 angles that you already had inside the quadrilateral, 329, and the whole thing adds up to 360. So we do 360 minus, we get 31. So the answer is 31. And the reason, I'm not going to write it now, but like because this question says give reason for every stage of your working, you should be saying things like because angles in a quadrilateral add up to 360 and stuff like that. So you guys see, that's how you get 4 marks. But please don't worry about getting full marks every single time. That's not what it's about. It's about not getting 0 on questions. That's my big strategy for you guys is can you go through an exam and not get 0 on any question? If you can do that, I'm being grade 7, pretty much guaranteed. Like, I mean, if you can not get 0 on any question on a higher tier paper, you're nailing it. Yes, Mesa, you'll find all these theorems in my videos. So my videos, the way I split it is I do radius and tangent, do a whole video on that. I do a whole video on the shapes. I do a whole video on what's called the tricks. It's like things that look like certain shapes but aren't. And there's a 4th one just for IGCSE only. It's called intersecting chords. But in GCSE you don't have that. But yeah, you can find it. Um, Isa says, my teacher pulled me out of maths because she thought I was cheating on my maths homework and I had to gatekeep and tell her about the calculator. This is how good it is, right? This is how good the calculator hacks are, is that your teachers are thinking that you're getting so many questions right. Is that what you mean? You're getting so many questions right that they thought, how are you doing this? It's not even possible. And then you're saying, okay, I have to come clean. Like I'm using these hacks that you're completely allowed on your calculator, but your teachers aren't even aware of it. Look at that. She thought I was using AI. Listen, your teachers don't actually know. Like a lot of people say this online. Like when I make a calculator hacks video and put it online, people say things like, "Oh, if it's so good, why aren't they teaching it at school then?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah. Like, would you guys agree with me, all the students here in the room, in the chat, would you agree with me? Like, exactly. Why are your teachers not teaching you this stuff? Yeah, everyone say, yeah, 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 exactly. They haven't figured it out yet. They just haven't. If they knew that this was going to get you guys an extra grade boundary, of course they'd do it because they'd look like better teachers. They have no idea. They just haven't figured it out. I don't know. They're too busy marking your work or something like that. As Mesa says, it's good we found you, sir. Yeah, you're welcome. Are my calculator hacks on YouTube? No, they're not on YouTube. I'll put up the odd one, but if you want to learn all of them, you've got to do them properly. Like that's why I have my 26 calculator hacks all in my course, all in the video platform for the premium members. Like you got them all lined up, this, then this, then this, then this, got some practice questions, do it properly. I put out a few online, so I do put some things out on TikTok and YouTube, but it's just like me doing a quick one because it's different when you actually really want to learn something. Actually, I just want to say this quickly. For people that like to watch online, or for even anybody watching this right now, just watching stuff is not good enough to learn. And so even though I'm going to start doing things more on YouTube, I think I'm going to try and steer away from being like, hey guys, watch this amazing thing. Cool. See you later. Like, because I don't think you're going to learn it properly. I'm going to try and do a bit more like what we're doing here, which is what do you guys think? Type it in the chats or pause or write a card. That's why I keep making you guys write cards. Because if I tell you stuff, you'd be like, that looked really easy. And then in 6 months, maybe you take your GCSEs and think, oh, what was that thing again? You have to be actively doing this stuff. So if you're watching videos online, if you find anyone, even if you find someone else that you think is great, just make sure that you're trying to action that stuff or trying to actually put it into practice. So if someone teaches you a really cool way to do cool, teaches you a way to answer some question, and you're like simultaneous equations, you're like, okay, that seems good. Go and find like just one practice question and do it because otherwise it's just not going to go. Kitty says, "Do you think understanding or practice is the most important part of maths?" But Kitty, yeah, you phrase this in a way that kind of backs me into a corner. Um, both. You have to understand it, otherwise you're going to get zero. But like if you don't, when you say practice, actually, I do think that people practice. You don't have to practice like so. You don't have to do like 20 practice questions on something. I think that the practice comes nearer the time of the exam. Now is the time to learn and revise. I think revise at the same time that you learn. So you learn something like, cool, let's immediately get that down onto cards. But if you spend an hour doing simultaneous equations, you're just getting really, really good at simultaneous equations at the expense of everything else. So what I want to do is quickly learn as much stuff as I can, boil it down onto cards. And when you get nearer the time of your GCSEs, practice paper, practice paper, practice paper. That's when you really start doing practice papers. I don't think you need to do hours and hours and hours of like practice right now. Anyway, everyone thinks differently. There's nothing wrong with doing lots of practice, but like practice without learning is not good. Just like I know so many people that do this. I know I want to do more of these questions. I'm gonna do I'm about to do lots more stuff, but this is really important. This is very, very, very important. A lot of people say, yeah, I did 20 practice questions over half term. Isn't that amazing? I'm like, well, but did you learn anything though? Or did you just try loads of questions and get some of them right and some of them wrong? It would be way better to do one practice question and then to really carefully go through, sorry, one practice paper, not one question in half term, one practice paper in half term, and very carefully go through it and be like, "Right, why did I find like this question? Like, why did I find this difficult? Because the mark scheme said I need to times these two numbers together, but I don't know why. Like, why is that? And then try and find the answer out and then be like, right, first step of this question, and then make a card on it. If it was the first step that was holding you back, just make a card. Like you see, like this kind of way of learning is so much more useful than just doing loads and loads of practice questions. Okay, so that being said, let me show you how to always get marks in your GCSE. Okay. The problem with questions like this is that it's just too much, too many words. There's too much going on, right? The thing that people are confused about with questions like this is like, oh, right, gee, right, okay. Jethro, right? Who's Jethro then? Jethro sat five tests. Why? What? What's he doing? Why is he bothered? Okay, right. And it takes you ages to go through this question. Each test was marked out of 100, and his mean mark for the five tests is 74. Jethro has to take one more test that is also to be marked out of 100. Jethro wants his mean mark for all six tests to be 70. Everyone's lost here. Work out the least what that Jethro needs to get for the last. Whoa, like there's so many things going on in your head, and everyone's going to panic. Like everyone's going to panic, but you'll especially panic if you have any form of attention or dyslexia, dyscalculia, anything like this, and you're like you find it difficult to process so much information. You need to have, especially you guys, but everybody really, you need to have a system in place for what to do when you get stuck on long, nasty questions like this. Now, you guys know my stuck mode. Yeah. For those of you in the Zoom room, let me know what is the step one? What is the first thing that you guys want to do? Major crash outs, as I say. Yeah, like this is just like what the hell's going on? Yes. No. Oh, so a bunch of you got it. Yeah, yeah. Ignore the bits. Yes, ignore. The word I want you to ignore is ignore the bits that are getting you stuck. Now, Ivy is saying, yeah, scribble it out. Yes, but mentally scribble it out. If you actually scribble this out on an exam, but oh wait. What was the question again? So don't physically scribble it out. Okay. This could be either foundation or higher tier, Cecilia. So um yeah, ignore the bit that's getting you stuck. If you don't know why you have to work out the least mark that he needs to get for the last test, if you don't understand these are words. You don't really need the words. I'm showing you what to do when you're completely stuck. Completely stuck. Da, 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 da. Five tests. So five tests. 100. Marked out of 100, whatever. The mean mark for the five tests is 74. I guess that is useful. Me mark for the five test 74. He has to sit one more test also to be marked out of 100. Ugh, ugh. Do we need that? Maybe the 100, okay, because it's a number. 677. Okay. Now, I've got this rule. You guys love this rule. I need to be careful about this rule because when I tell people my rule, which is if in doubt times, my rule is if in doubt times, but that's only if you're in doubt. So if you're in doubt in a question, times and you'll get some marks. But you can't just go into this question and just go, well, two times them, and I'm just going to times. Actually, that would have been correct times there. It's not a bad rule. It's not a bad rule. But if in doubt times, again, just people randomly just start timesing everything together like this. It's like, listen, it's not going to always work if in doubt times. It did work in that question, which is pretty funny. Would have gotten your mark. But here, if you're stuck, just times. Now, what do you times? Because there's so many numbers. Let's just isolate what these numbers are again. So you got five, you got 100, you got five, you got 74, you got 100, you got six, you got 77. So if you want to get one mark on this question, so 3 mark question, if you're completely stuck here, get 1 mark and get out of there would be great. It would be great. So you don't have to get full marks on these questions. But my even out times thing, it works really well when you can link two numbers. So don't just start randomly timesing numbers together like that. It's like mean mark for the five tests is 74. Those two. Five tests is 74 times those. They're linked. Six tests, 77 times them. Now, this actually is a really good first step in this question. Whenever they tell you the mean and the total, you times them. So when they say the average number of goals that Harry Kane scored in 10 games is 6. That's a lot of goals, actually. You can tell I'm not too up to date with my football. But let's say it was 3. The average number of goals he scored in 10 games was 3. Times them together. 10 times 3, just times them together. And what that tells you is the total number of goals. So mean mark for the 5 tests is 74. So the mean mark 74, and you got that in 5 tests. Bang, times them together. 5 times 74. Okay. 370. And then down here, it's like he wants his mean mark for the 6 tests, 77. 677. 6 tests would be 77. So the 6 tests and the mean is 77. So you times them together. 6 times 77. Okay. 462. And I promise you, after you've done that in these questions, the next bit I'm just going to say is common sense. And I know that sounds like a really bad way to teach, to be like, just common sense, guys. I promise you, you guys are going to find this so much easier now that you actually understand what this means. This is the total amount of marks in those five tests. That's how many. So out of those five tests, got 370 marks in total. He wants, he wants this to be true. He wants this to be his total marks for the six tests. And I'm just going to say, what do you guys think you would do then? Common sense here, which is this is his total marks on the first five tests, and this is the total marks on the first six tests. So that's all the five tests plus the extra test that he's taking. What do you guys think we're going to do here? Yes, bang, 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 bang. Everyone's saying minus. Do you see what I mean? Just a little bit of common sense, and you're all going to know that you minus them to find the difference, and that's the amount that you've got to get in the final test. And I promise you, that's full marks. It doesn't matter that it's least marks, or that it doesn't matter. This is what you do to get marked in these questions. 462 minus 370. Okay. So I'm just going to do answer minus 370. 92. Now that's just all. If you're not sure what to do, just stick that in the answer box. But like, let's just go and have a look. Let's double check. Is there anything that we missed here? Now we're just going to take these off and have a look. Okay. So he's taking five tests. We've done the mean thing. The next one's marked out of 100. Okay. He wants his mean mark for 6, 77. Yeah, fine. 92. There you go. 92. You might ask, does this make sense? Does this make sense? Yes. He wants his average grade to go up. And so he's got to get higher than like 74, and he wants to get 92, like 92 out of 100. That still makes sense. If your answer there was like 107, this wouldn't make sense because you can't get 107 out of 100 on a test. So that's what I mean by a sense check. Is just, does that roughly, like, does that answer actually make sense in the question? Yes, it does. So this is how to get full marks. That's full marks now. So let's go think about what's the card that we're going to make. I think a really, really useful card here would be mean, just say first step, mean mark in five tests is 74. And it doesn't matter what the question is. If you ever see that, just do 5 times 74. And if you want to know what that actually means, you could say like total marks in the five tests, in the tests, something like that. And if you know that, this is just one card. If you know that, I honestly think most of you will go and get full marks on this question. One card, 3 marks. The reason is if you really, really understand this mark, this card, you'll know that if you're ever told the mean and the number of times something happens, you times them together. So you would have done it there, and you would have done it there, and you would have ended up with those two numbers in orange. And all I said to you guys was common sense. What do you think you're going to do next? And so many of you just said minus, and then you get your full marks. Pretty neat, right? Like, this is your method. This is your system. So again, I'm not necessarily teaching you. This is how you answer this question. I'm giving you these systems to put in place so that you just go and get full marks every single time. I really think if you know that, if you really know that, and you just revise that little and often until you really, really know and understand it, go and help yourself to full marks every single time. Okay. Maddie's saying, what video would this be on my website? Yeah, so it's called me. It's under statistics and probability because it's mean. It's called mean. It's oh, actually, that's a good question. It's in there. It's under the statistics stuff. It's called something mean. I'm so sorry. Actually, off the top of my head, I can't remember. I think it's called mean and total, or it might even be. Yeah, there's only like 2 or 3 videos on around the mean thing. So just you'll find it in there. You'll find it. It's at the beginning of the statistics module there. Oh, Holly, great question. Holly is saying, why does it say find the least mark? What does that mean? Hopefully, I'm really helping you guys here to see that it doesn't really matter. If you don't understand this, just ignore it and go and do it anyway. And here it didn't matter. So, okay, let me just explain. He wants his mean mark to be at least 77. And so if Jethro got 92 on this test, then his mean mark would be 77. If he got higher than 92, his mean would now be higher than 77. So he'd still get what he wants. So he could get 93 or 94 or any higher than that. So when they say work out the least mark, you're basically just working out the mark that he needs to get exactly 77 as his mean. So hopefully that helps. Okay, cool. Right. Let's quickly go through and try and do a few more questions before we finish. Now, have we got any questions in the Q&A? I always like to make sure I'm answering these questions as well. IVA says, is there a mark scheme available for all questions so I can check the answers we didn't go through? Yes, that's why what I do at the end of this, within 24 hours of every single webinar, I upload the video and the mark scheme onto the platform. So when you go into webinar replays, you could watch this replay, or you could just go in and find the mark scheme and you can go and just check all the other ones. Yeah, no, because I know some people are like, you didn't get round to question one. I just wanted to check if I got it right. Yeah, I upload that. Ben says, do you know any other ways to revise other than past papers? Yes, my micro revision cards, all the cards that we're making right now. This is such an efficient way to revise that you just then flick through the cards every now and again. Just do a little bit here, there, and everywhere. That's it. So the way I revise is take your time to choose your cards that you write carefully, but to write them really quickly. And this is how I revise. Past papers are fine, but you have to be then like condensed. You have to be learning stuff and writing them onto cards. Ben also says, I have done both my math calculator and non-calculator papers for my mocks, but now I have a math paper 3 and I don't know if it's calculator or non-calculator. So you only ever have at most one non-calculator paper. Okay, so it'll be calculator. Someone else asking for the mark scheme. Yes, I upload it. Isn't the least mark the same as the lowest mark? Yes, Henry. Yeah, I think I'll answer that question about the least mark, the lowest mark. Liber says, if I want a grade 7, how many marks can I lose per paper? That's actually a really good way of thinking about it. Labour. You're saying how many marks can I lose? Even if you want a grade 9, you can chuck 25 marks in the bin. You can chuck a quarter of the marks in the bin. It depends though. It does depend on the grade boundary, so don't hold me to that. But a grade 7 is like 50, 55 usually. So you can kind of chuck half the marks in the bin. Choose which one you chuck in the bin carefully though. Like I'm not saying randomly chuck, but like the ones that you want to chuck in the bin, the marks that you want to lose, are like marks 4 and 5 on 4 and 5 mark questions. Never chuck a whole topic in the bin. Never say, like, I'm not going to revise that topic. Like, teachers will tell you, oh, you guys are only on a grade, whatever, so I'm not going to bother teaching you vectors. Ignore them. They don't know what they're talking about. You can always go and get 1 mark on those nasty questions. Which paper is this, says Ingrid? It's this one. Here. Will these questions be on IGCSE? Yeah, this is an IGCSE paper, but I'm using it to teach GCSE as well. If anything comes up which is specifically IGCSE, I will let you know. But everything we've done today is on GCSE and IGCSE on everything. Sienna saying, what's the difference between papers 2 and 3? Nothing. That's basically, there's no difference. Have you got any foundation papers on your website? Yes, I do. Loads and loads and loads. All these webinars, every webinar that I've done for all the premium members, you get access to all of these. So everything. So if you want to do AQA, foundation, non-calculator, I've got webinars on there. If you want the past paper, you can print it out, try it yourself, and then go watch the webinar, all this kind of thing. And then Henry saying, should I start the paper by finding the questions I find easiest first? Listen, this is difficult. A lot of people wanting to know about their strategy for going through papers. I think do it in order. Like, but it depends on you. I think just do it all in order. If you're someone that really, really, really panics in exams and you need to get one question in the bag, then maybe you can go and find a question that you know you're good at. But it's why I teach you those calculator hacks so that lots of questions you're now going to be getting 100%. Yes, Sophia. Yes, no, I know I'm also live streaming to people, but not long left because I'm about to go into my other webinar. Okay. Yes, someone's asking. All of IGCSE is calculator. Yeah. So if you ever get a choice of which paper to use, go Edexcel IGCSE. You have no non-calculator paper. It's bonkers. Right. In the last 2 minutes, I'm going to do questions 6, 7, and 8. Let's go. Just because I want to make sure I'm covering more maths. I'm not going to do them all properly, but I'm just going to show you quickly. Okay. Let me just super quickly. The first step of any question like this is that these things add up to 1. Okay. The second step is to draw arrows and you do what I call a ladder. I promise you this is what you do every single time. So this is step 2. Step 1 is that all of these things add up to 1. So I'm going to do this really quickly. I'm going to add these 3 numbers up and I'm going to see what's left over to get to 1. I'm going to 0.2 plus 0.12 plus 0.08. Okay. I promise you, this is the same every single. I haven't even read the question, but I know it's going to be the same. 2/5. So I'm going to do 1 minus that, and it's going to tell me how much is left over between orange and pink. Now they say the probability that it's on orange is 3 times the probability it's on pink. This is the one thing you guys are going to find really, really tricky. If this one, the orange one, is 3 times the pink one, you can call this 3x and x. And so you actually see if you add them together, there's 4x in total. So basically, I know this is difficult, but I'm just doing this very quickly at the end. The orange is like 3/4 and the pink is like 1/4 of what's left. I know a lot of people say if that's 3 times, it's going to be like a third or something. No, you have to split it into quarters, because if you split something into quarters, into four, you can split it and go one's there and three's there. Does that make sense? I know I'm covering this quickly, but this is 3 times as big as that. And so you split this into quarters. So this thing that we have left here, we're going to divide it into four, and we're going to give one piece to the pink one and three to the orange one. So I'm going to divide that by four. And one of those pieces, let's do S to D, so 0.15. I know I'm doing this quickly. Please forgive me, but this is just, I'm just coming to the end of the webinar. So 0.15 is going to go in there, and 3 times that is going to go in the other one. I hope that makes sense. Whatever, that's 0.45. Okay. The second step is 150 times. Then times is all by 150. If they do it 150 times, just times them all by 150. And then they say an estimate number of lines on blue. So blue is that one, and I times it by 150. And there you go. So 0.12 times by 150. Now, you could have done this even if you didn't get part A, 18. There you go. So there's how to get full marks on that one. That's 2 marks for that one. Bang. So very quickly, I know it's midday, so quickly. Okay, when you have a 3-step inequality, just do the same thing to all 3. So divide all of them by 2. There you go. So y is between -2 and 3. So it's -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. It can't be equal to 3 because it has to be less than 3. Bang. That first step is super important. Take a picture right now because we're going to move on. Solve this inequality. Just pretend it's an equals. This is the hack. Pretend it's an equals. Shove it into your calculator using the calculator hack. And whatever the answer is, I'll show you quickly. This is such a crazy hack. This is nuts. But it's only, I'm showing you the hack because I don't have time to do this properly. So it's plus 31. You change the letter to X, and then you do this thing that I showed you before, bang, 6.6. And so just instead of equals, just copy that down. Okay, that's silly. I mean, that is full marks, okay? But like, you have to show you working clearly, okay? So you just, yeah, anyway, I don't have time to do that. And then question 8, I don't have time to do this because we've got to go. Okay, hope that was useful. For those watching free, if you want to sign up to premium, if you found that useful and thought you could last an hour again, you can come every week. Just sign up to premium. You've got to do it by tonight, 10 p.m. because the price is going to go up. So come along. I'd love to have you. It's a really cool group, really nice, supportive group of people helping each other out and just all keen to boost our grades. I'm loving it. We're seeing amazing results. It's really cool having you guys in and hearing your results and hearing that your teachers can't even work out how you're answering all these questions right because you've got a little calculator that no one else knows how to use. I hope that's the beginning, that calculator of like giving a bit more confidence. And then when we go into these sessions, you'll see we do a bit more maths, a bit more making these cards. It's not all calculator hacks. It is trying to learn stuff properly. The hacks is just a great way to get you guys in and to boost your confidence. Okay, right, I'm going to hop into my next webinar midday to go through the second half of this paper and show you the same crazy hacks and tricks that will get you marks on the second half of a paper. Thanks, everyone. And for those watching free, see you guys on YouTube. If you want to carry on free, that's fine. I'll just be putting some more videos up on YouTube. Been lovely having you guys. And yeah, otherwise try out premium. Just try it. Like, sign up. You get 7-day free trial. Try it. It's cheaper now than it will be tomorrow, and you get a whole week and half term. I'm giving extra support over half term as well. So come and join us. Join for the week and then cancel on the last day. I can't stop you from doing that, but see if it works for you. And if it works, I'd love to have you guys on board. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you all soon. See you.